Good morning, everyone. My name is Marina, and I will conduct today's webinar on Wrike's new experience. Let's give everyone just 1 minute to join the webinar, and we'll start in 1 minute. Thank you. Again, good morning to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Marina Konopelka, and I'm a Customer Success Manager in Wrike. I will be hosting today's webinar, going further with the new Wrike experience. Before we begin, there are a few housekeeping items I want to mention. The webinar will last for approximately 1 hour, and it will include a 40-minute presentation and demo, followed by a 15-minute Q&A. You all have been muted. Feel free to submit your questions in the question box. The webinar will be recorded, and our marketing team will share the recording with all the registrants after the session. Let's dive into it. Here's what I'll cover in the main part of the webinar. The benefits of the new experience, the rollout plan, so when exactly you can move to the new navigation and when the old one will be disabled. I'll say a few words about spaces, since they are an important part of the upgraded user interface. And then I'll show you all of the new and upgraded features in my demo account. We'll finish up with a Q&A. Let's talk about some of the reasons we're implementing a new Wrike experience. The new Wrike experience brings a new and refreshing look to the workspace layout, making it more intuitive for you to navigate across Wrike and focus your work quickly. Evolving our platform meant that we needed to simplify the Wrike experience for everyday users and maintain its power and versatility for power users. Wrike is becoming more personal, more effective, and focused. One of our goals is to make Wrike more personalized for our users. This means controlling how you find and manage your work. Users can customize which spaces, projects, folders, and tools they care about the most and ensure quick access. Another goal is to provide you with increased focus. The new Wrike experience lets users maintain their focus by removing all unnecessary disruption. There will be a larger workspace for you to work in, and our space-focused hierarchy will prevent information overload. Finally, the new Wrike experience is scalable. This means that users can build, manage, and share relevant information with ease. You can find the right views and tools for the right job faster. Users can also quickly share and access important work tools wherever they are on the platform. The new Wrike experience brings both new functionality as well as an improved experience for already popular Wrike capabilities to create a more intuitive, simplified, and personalized experience. Some functionality we'll be covering are the My Home page with new sections, configurable views, and some improved experiences include the application switcher and the space-focused folder tree. We'll walk through what each of these changes are and the benefits they bring to our users. Currently, all of the users on all accounts can enable this new navigation and interface. To do that, each user would need to go to Wrike Labs, so wrike.com/labs, L-A-B-S, and enable the first feature in the list, New Experience. I'll show this to you in the demo part. At this stage, all existing customers will have the ability to switch back and forth between the New Experience and the classic navigation. Then the migration will start around early March, and the current plan is to have everyone on Wrike's new experience by the end of the second quarter. Then the classic navigation, so the current version, will be gradually sunset around mid-2021. The exact date is to be confirmed, and it will also depend on the feedback we receive from the users. Before moving to the demo part, I want to highlight one more important feature. For some of our loyal clients who have been with Wrike for over 2 years, you know that there used to be a time where Wrike did not have spaces. Spaces were introduced in Wrike around 2019, and this building block is basically the main repository for teams to work from. So most commonly, each team would have a separate space with all the key information tagged there with its default workflows and bookmarks. So think of it as your top folder for everything for the whole team. Spaces are an important part of Wrike's new experience. The left-hand structure has been optimized for spaces versus account-wide, which creates a cleaner hierarchical work structure. This new experience may add a few clicks for some of you, but it creates a more focused work environment and removes and limits user distraction. Specifically for space admins, this new experience also allows for greater control over the tools managed at the space level. Additional tools include dashboards, calendars, and for those of you who have Wrike Resource or are on Wrike for Professional Services Plan, workload charts. If you still haven't adopted spaces, make sure you learn about them from our previous webinars and make some minor changes to your account structure. It will only take a few clicks to cross-tag the folders that you already have to the right spaces, but if you use spaces, the new navigation will be much easier to work with. And now let's move on to the demo part. Please give me a few moments to change the screens. Okay. And we'll start off with labs. I'll show you how to enable a new navigation. So if you look at my Wrike right now, it actually has the classic navigation that some of you still have. So we'll do the change with you to get on the call. So if you go to wrike.com/labs, and please bear in mind you need to be logged on to your Wrike for this. Scroll down until you see the first feature, New Experience, and click on the Enable button. When you do that, your Wrike automatically updates to the new navigation. So all you need to do is, you have your browser. It actually opens already in the new navigation. If it does not change, click on the refresh button. And it's absolutely the same if you use the desktop application. So the desktop application is actually just a container for the information that you have in the browser version. So once you enable New Experience from Labs, your desktop app will also be moved to the New Experience. In this new experience, there are some things that are new, some things that changed slightly, and others that did not change at all, right? So when you open Wrike, you'll see the first new feature, My Home. My Home is the new default landing page and home screen for users when entering the platform. Let's explore all sections from left to right. We'll start with the inbox. There are now 2 inbox locations. So in addition to the inbox at the top of your screen, so this icon, there is also your inbox displayed on My Home page. Please bear in mind that the inbox that is displayed on My Home only includes all incoming messages. So, but if you want to see all the sent and archived items, click on the inbox icon, and this is how you access all the information here. Let's go back to Home. Now let's focus on this center middle section, right? First of all, the recent section. This is a new section within Wrike that automatically displays your recently visited folders and projects. It's important to note that recent tasks can still be found in the search bar as previously available. So if you click here in the search bar, you will always see the recent tasks. And the recent section on My Home allows you to see recent folders and projects. This functionality actually just helps you navigating back and forth between folders and projects. The next new section is pinned items. This gives users the ability to pin folders, projects, and tools, like for example, dashboards and reports, for quick and easy access. Additionally, you can quickly pin anything found in the recent section to keep it easily accessible. So if you hover over the templates folder, for example, You can click on this icon to pin the item, and now it's in the pin section. You can also drag and drop to reorder pinned items on my home page. So for example, let's say this one goes second, and this one last. This section can be, if you have a lot of pinned items, like let's say 10, you will see this show more button as you see everywhere. So you can always show more and collapse if you don't need to see a whole list. And also one more note here. If you used in the classic navigation, if you stored any folders or projects, when you move to the new experience, they will automatically be in the pinned section. So actually this how to guide and CS OKRs folders were my stored items in the classic navigation. So when I moved to the new navigation, they automatically became pinned items. Now let's scroll down and look at another section, spaces. You see each space from my homepage and that you are a member of. You can hide the spaces that you don't want to see. So for instance, if I hover over a marketing agency space and click on the three-dot menu button, I can click on hide. So I no longer see it from my homepage. It does not mean I lose access to that space and all the information inside. It just means I don't want to see that on my homepage. That's it. You can also always access spaces from the search bar wherever you are in Wrike. So if we start typing in marketing agency, for example, see, so under spaces, I have this marketing agency space and I can access it just by clicking on it from the search bar. If you show more with spaces, you can also see all of the other spaces that you're a member of. Again, if you click on hide, you pull them back to your spaces. You can customize the sections that appear in my home. So those three sections, recent, pinned, and spaces, you can change their order so that it's in the right order for you, basically. For instance, I prefer to have my pinned items at the top. So I hover over the pinned section, I click on it, and I move it to the top. And now I'll see it in this order. Now let's move right and look at our right-hand toolbar. The right-hand panel of the My homepage combines a few elements from our classic navigation. Smart folders, actually smart lists that you see here, so My To Do created by me and Start Tasks. They were previously accessible in the personal space and they are still accessible from your personal space, but you also have the links to it in your homepage. You also see the tools here, which used to span across the top of Wrike Workspace, right? So now they all moved to this part. So it's dashboards, calendars, and reports, and depending on your Wrike plan, you may have other items like timesheets and workloads, for example. And you also see shared with me blueprints and the recycle bin, all of which were previously nested in the left-hand folder panel of the classic navigation. Let's also have a look at the top bar. First of all, in the top left corner, you'll see the homepage icon and your inbox, obviously. So whenever you need to go to My Home, anywhere you are in Wrike, you can just click there and go back to this view. Same for inbox, you can open it anywhere in Wrike. Previously, we also had our plus sign icon to add new Wrike elements like tasks, projects, or requests in this corner. Now it was moved to the right corner, so here. You can also see your time tracker at the top bar. So you can start tracking time and pause it at any time you need. Same for the search bar, Wrike Assistant, so this question mark icon, and your profile settings. These icons and functionalities have not changed. But one more item that we have here is this More button. This is the menu button that you can access anywhere from Wrike and go to the tool that you want, like My To Do, your dashboards, or your blueprints, for example. Now let's have a look at spaces. and how they changed. I'm going to choose my software development team space for today's demo. You may remember I mentioned that the left-hand structure has been optimized for spaces versus account-wide. And this is what I meant by that. Now when you open a space, on the left, you will only see the projects and folders that are tagged to that space. The left-hand navigation is only visible once you've entered a space or if you are in Shared with Me section, for example. The left-hand navigation will show work elements of that specific space, so you won't see elements belonging to other spaces, even if you have access to them. This focused and simplified navigation will reduce information overload for you. Also, use the arrow along the border to collapse this left-hand navigation or expand it. Previously, we used to have this burger icon at the top. Now it's this arrow. This is how you can increase your screen space. Please notice that the top header remains in place, allowing me to easily navigate to my home when I need, right? Also, if I go to any folder or project, so for example, let me go to current sprint, I will see where I am exactly by looking at the stop bar. I can also click on any hierarchical level. So let me go to sprint 2, for example. So now I'm on the level of this second sprint, my project for the second sprint. And I can use the stop bar as a navigation to go back to the space level, for example. If you use information from multiple spaces, remember that you don't need to always click to the home page and then switch to the relevant space. Look at the bottom left corner. There's a new button that is called Show Spaces. It allows you to move where you need in a few clicks. So once you click there, you'll see the list of all your spaces that you are part of, as well as the Explore Spaces button Shared with Me, Blueprints, and Recycle Bin. And for example, I want to go to my complex project space. Once I click there, I will actually see the tools attached to the space, and I'll cover them a bit later, and the folder structure, so I can actually go directly to the risk logs folder, for example. And now if you look at the top bar, you see we are in this space. This is the folder, and this is actually the view, right, that I have. Or you can just simply click, hover over the space name and click on this open to open the space level information. So again, you don't need to go to your home page. You can just click on this button and get anywhere on any space of folder project that you need. Same for Shared with Me, by the way. Right. Now, let's talk about another new feature in this new navigation, and it's called Tools in Spaces. So if you look at this left-hand side, you'll see the Tools section. By the way, if you click on the tools or projects and folders, you can always just collapse those items. Now, certain work tools can be created and accessible at the space level. So it goes for dashboards, calendars, and workload charts, again, if it's applicable for your use case, if you have Wrike resource or you are on Wrike Professional Services Plan. Space admins can create and manage tools for their team members, providing them with the right information when they need it. So basically, all members of the space will have access to all of the information that you have under projects and folders, and also all the tools. For instance, I can access the dashboard that is attached to this tool section. So we actually have 2 dashboards attached here. Let me click here. And as you see, I'm actually not leaving the space. I can just see the dashboard here and then go back to any folder that I need. Same for this dashboard. So basically, the idea is you work off a specific space and all the information that is relevant for you is tagged within this space. Space admins can create new tools in a space by clicking on this plus sign. And I assume some of you may actually, let's create a new dashboard just for the sake of the example. So I click on the dashboard. Again, only space admins will be able to do that. We need to give it a name. So let's say personal productivity. You see already that the space is tagged to our, this dashboard is already tagged to our space, software development team. I click on create. I see this new dashboard in my menu, and now I can start populating it. So for instance, I want for everybody to see the tasks that are overdue for them. Let's add this to the dashboard. And same, let's see tasks that are, let's say tasks that are assigned to me, okay? Those widgets are actually set up, the filter is set up for the assignee current user, which means that I will see my overdue tasks and my tasks, so tasks that are assigned to me. But since it's tagged on a space level, my team members who access the space will actually see their overdue tasks and the tasks that are assigned to them. So that's why it's actually nice to share this with the whole team so that they have the same level of visibility. I assume some of you may already have a few dashboards or calendars or workload charts that you use on a regular basis. You actually don't need to recreate them from scratch. Just navigate to the relevant section. So let's use this More button now. And I'll actually go to the calendar section. I'll choose this calendar, Software Development Team Roadmap. And now, if you click on this three-dot menu button, you can actually move it to any existing space. So I click on Move. Now I find the space where I actually want to move this calendar, and I click on Move. What this means now is, let us go back to Home page and Software Development Team. Now you see I actually have this calendar within this space. So I can click on this calendar and see the information here, change it to quarterly or yearly if I need to, right? So I can still have the same features I have in my calendar tool, but I can access them from the space level. It's actually the same for the dashboard. So if you have any existing dashboard, all you would need to do is click on the three-dot menu button at the top of the screen and move an existing dashboard to a space. Same for the workload charts. When you move a tool to a space, it automatically becomes available to all space members. So if we are talking about a public space, then any regular user would have access and see all the information in the space, including the tools. Now, a quick note for the users who don't use spaces. If you don't use spaces, or if you're not a member of any space, even if there are a few public spaces in your account, but you're just not a member of those spaces, then chances are you won't see anything except for the personal space under the spaces section. So you can find your folder structure under the Shared with Me section on the right-hand toolbar in Home, like that. So in my case, I actually have 3 folders that were not shared with me on the space level, but just the folder level. We would recommend here to cross-tag existing folders to either existing spaces or maybe create new spaces. So for instance, let me show you how to create a new space. Again, you can access this information and learn a lot more about spaces in some of our older webinars. But just a few remarks. You click here on the plus sign, you choose spaces, then you decide if the space has to be private, so only the members of the space will have access to the information and will know about the existence of the space. Or it can be public, meaning anyone in your workspace can view and join the space. So if the space is public, people can click on Explore Spaces, find the space and join. Okay, so let's say in my case, I can create a public space that I will call Alpha Team. You can change the icon and the color here. So let's say like that. Again, since it's a public space, all members of my team, so all regular users regular users, admins, and the account owner can see the space in full access role. You can change that to edit or limited or read only, for example, if you need. So I'll click to create this new Alpha Team space. And now let me go back to my shared with me section. I'll just open it. And by clicking on all of those folders, I can actually tag them to the right space. So for instance, I start typing the name Alpha Team, and now I'm actually moving this to the right space. Same here, Alpha, oops. And the last one, this one actually needs to go to my personal space. I'd rather see that there, okay? Now, if I go to the Alpha Team space, I'll see all the folders that are tagged. So basically what I'm saying is if you don't use spaces yet and you mainly rely on folders, it's actually not that difficult to switch to spaces, seeing how they are a very important part of the new navigation. Please note that the ability to create spaces may be limited for some users by your admins. So if you click on this green plus sign and you don't see this option to create a space, contact your Wrike admin. You actually may have this right disabled. So maybe the Wrike admins will create the relevant spaces for you, cross-stack all the structure so that you can start to use it. Now I'd like to cover one more important update, the feature that is called Wrike Views. So let's go back to my software development team. If you enabled new experience and you go to any space or folder right now, you'll see that you can actually modify this Wrike Views bar. So this one I'm talking about. So previously in the classic navigation, you'll just see the list of all available views, which would include list, board, table, Gantt chart, stream, files, and so on. And now you can actually make sure that you hide some of the views that you don't need to use, right? Those views can be either selected by the user or predefined by the administrator. So for instance, if your team only uses board view and Gantt chart for your work, you can actually mask the views that aren't relevant for you. So for instance, let's mask this list view. Click on the three-dot menu button next to the view you want to hide, and then just click on hide, and that's it. Remember, you're not actually deleting anything from here. So all of those actions can be reversed. You are just masking the view so that your navigation looks cleaner and simpler, but you can always bring the view back when you need to. To do that, click on the plus sign and add a view to the list. And now we have the list view back, okay? This customization works on a space level and also on individual folder and project levels. So you can actually have different views that you want to see on different levels. One more important update is you can create a custom view in Wrike. Again, to do that, you would need to click on the plus sign to add a view and click Create Custom View. Custom views can be based on list, board, table, or Gantt chart view and have default sorting and filtering options. As you see here, you can create a public custom view, and then it will be saved and available to other space users. And if it's a personal custom view, you're the only one who actually sees it. So right now, let's create two custom views. Let's say a personal and a public one to see how those changes are saved. So first of all, I'll create a personal custom view. I'll call it Marina, and I'll choose a board view as a template. So basically, my custom view will be based on the board view. Let's click on Create. If you look at this icon right now, you see that it has this little lock, and that means it's a personal view. So you're the only one who sees that. Now what I can do, and let me actually quickly collapse this navigation right now so that I just focus on the information here. And now what I want to do, I actually want to see just the tasks that are, for example, active. So let's first of all, in the board view, make sure you choose tasks from subfolders so that we see everything, right? And now let's say I only want to see all active tasks, and I want them to be sorted by due date, okay? You see, once I make changes to the sorting and to the filtering options, I have this little blue icon appear next to my custom view. And this means that I've actually changed the sorting and filtering options, and I can save those options to make sure every time I access this board view, I see exactly the same view. So let me move to Gantt chart now so that I view information in a different view, right? And now if I move to my personal board view, I still see all my active tasks and they are still sorted by due date. What that basically means that you can create a specific personal views for yourself so that you don't have to filter all the information every time. Now let's create another view. Let's say we want to create a public, let's call a table, let's actually create a table view for the whole team. So let's do it like that. Let's click on create. Now, near to each, basically another change here is that you can also have different names than just list, board, table, and Gantt chart views here, and you can always go back and rename your custom views. And let's say here in my table view, I want to see, I actually want to see all tasks. I want them to always be expanded to show all tasks. I want them to be, actually can also configure the columns that I see. So for instance, I want to see assignee status, start and due dates, and some of my, actually, let's say some of my custom fields. So let's say release type, story points, work type, product area, okay? I can also click here on the title column to freeze this column. You can freeze multiple columns, same as you would do in spreadsheets. This will also be saved here. And let's say we want to filter by due date, right? Again, you can filter further. So for instance, if you only want to see stories in your current sprint, you click on the filter icon, you scroll down in this filter panel, add a custom field as a filter. So let's say, what do we have here? We had work type, right? So we choose this custom field, and if it's actually, if it's not empty, this is where we want to see those fields, right? Again, you can use any combination of filters and sorting, and as I mentioned here in table view, also any columns that you want to use, you can save them. So let's click and save. And this means that every time any team member will access this team table, they will see exactly the same layout as you. You can also always duplicate the views if you need to and make a duplicated view public or personal. If you click on the three-dot menu button, you can actually set a custom view as a default one. So you always had this option with on any folder or project level to set a custom view from the standard views, list, board, table, Gantt chart, right? And files view, and same for others. But with this release, you can also set the custom view as the default one. So whenever I go to the space level, I'll actually go to the team table. Let us test this. If I go back to my how-to guide to this folder and then click on the space level, as you see, it loads already on the team table. So this is my default view for the space level. Also, if you click on the three-dot menu button, you see an option to copy a permalink to this view. So as you know, most items in Wrike have their permalinks, so they're unique links that you can send and share with your team members. It can work for tasks, folders, projects, files as well, and now the custom views. And basically what you can do is, if you want everyone to actually have access to it, you can go to the bookmark section, and space admins can add a new bookmark. So just by clicking on the plus sign, let's paste this URL. Let's call it team table view. And you don't need to write anything in the description actually, but usually I'd recommend writing something so that it's clear what we have here. I click on save, and now I know that this is actually a view in Wrike that I can access anywhere. So if you go to the bookmark section on the space level, you can click there and access this view. And another option would be you actually see all of the bookmarks on your space level as well. So those are the bookmarks that are attached to spaces. I have Wrike Labs and our Discover course on New Experience attached here. Now let's move to the last interesting feature that we have with New Experience, the pinned items. I want to show you how to actually pin the information. Now, if we go back to the home page, we'll see all of our pinned items. So let me again move the pinned items here. Oops, give me 1 second. So you can pin and unpin the items from here. If you had any storage folders or projects, they will become pinned items once you move to the New Experience. Now, the question is how to add new pinned items. This is easy. Let's go to my space. Actually, it could be any space or folder level. Let's say I want to pin my current sprint folder. When I click on this folder, at the top navigation, you'll see this new icon. Once I click here, I pin this element to my home, and I can unpin it from it as well. You can also pin, so let's go to the space level. You can also pin your custom views. So for instance, let me actually pin my personal view here. So I click on this custom view, and again, at the top, I see the pin that I can click on. And now if we go back to my home, you'll see I have my board view as a pinned element. I have my, and I have my 4 folders, and I can change their order if I want to. And again, as a reminder, you can pin folders, projects, dashboards, reports, calendars, workloads, and custom views. So if we go to, let's say, any report, actually, let's go to project by progress. If I click here, again, at the top bar, I see a pin icon. So I can go back, and now I see my report, right? Please remember that pinned items were created to allow users to personalize their homepage, so every user will have a different pinned section. We welcome your feedback about Wrike's New Experience. There are 2 ways you can share your feedback. Either click on this Wrike Assistant icon at the top right corner of your screen and scroll down until you see Leave Feedback. Then in this drop-down, choose the section that you want to leave feedback on. Actually, it works for any Wrike element, so you can leave feedback on blueprints, the board view, and anything else. Then choose one of the emojis to rate your sentiment, and write your comments and send on. Click on send to make sure it goes to our system. Another option would actually be to do that via Wrike Labs. So if we go back to labs, wrike.com/labs, you'll see that near every labs feature, you would have this leave feedback icon. So you can click on leave feedback and just add a comment here. We really appreciate your feedback, and actually we've implemented a lot of suggestions to this New Experience release. So thank you so much for that, and keep on leaving your feedback and use cases so that we keep on improving. That actually completes my overview of Wrike's New Experience. So let me go back to the webinar, and see if we have any questions. Let me actually also introduce you to my colleague, Noelle from marketing. Noelle will help me with the Q&A as well. Noelle, do you have any questions?
Hi, Marina. Thanks a million for going through all of that. And hi, everyone. Yes, we did get some questions coming throughout. So we'll kick off now. First of all,
Perfect.
we have the first question is, will all spaces you are currently part of be automatically added to your My Home screen?
Yes, all of the spaces you are part of will be visible in under the Spaces section in your My Home. Again, you may see, if you have a lot of spaces, you will see this show more button so that you see all of them, and you can use the hide button to make sure you only focus on the spaces that are relevant for you.
That's great. Thanks, Marina. Another one that came up that is in relation to Spaces is, hi, Marina. In Spaces, is there a search option for project/folder that used to be in the old experience and that could have been found in the top left?
Yes, it's the same. So if you use the search bar, the logic of the search bar has not changed. So you can still see the information on space level.
Great. And I think more of a broader question that came in is just, how can I start using this new experience/update?
Perfect. Yeah, to do that, you would need to go to Wrike Labs. So again, I'll give me 1 second, I'll leave the presentation. But if you see the classic navigation still, all you need to do is go to wrike.com/labs. All of the users, so all people who have a Wrike license will have access to this. So you just need to scroll down until you see new experience and click on enable button to do that. So once you click on enable, the Wrike automatically updates the new experience in your browser and in your desktop app, and you can start using it.
Great. And a follow-up question that just came in there is that, do users have to have moved to this new experience by the end of March? Is there a time frame around this?
So for now, we're doing a rather gradual migration. Right now, some of the clients will start to gradually receive the pop-up notifications inside their Wrike if they want to move to the new navigation or not. It will actually be usually at the top right corner of the screen. So the users can actually enable it from there as well once they see the pop-up. It's not mandatory at this stage to move to the new Wrike experience. However, our plan is to actually move from the classic navigation in 2021, so to move from the classic navigation to the new experience. So I'd say we know that change management can be difficult for users, especially if there are changes in the navigation and in the interface. So I'd say try to get used to this new experience as early as possible. Of course, if there are some issues or some challenges that you're facing, especially for Wrike champions, make sure you communicate them to your dedicated customer success manager or your account manager so that we take this into account. But I'd say the earlier you adopt it, the easier it will be. Because again, some of your users can just enable it for themselves and start using the custom views and the tools in Spaces. But only if everybody is on the same navigation, you'll be able to see all the tools and all the custom views. So that's why it's very important to make sure everybody moves to it.
Okay, great. Sorry, just going through some more of these questions. We do have a lot coming through, guys. So if we do not get to your question, just please note that we will look at these after the session, and any questions that you do ask, you will be contacted and answered on. So another question that came in is it possible to disable the new Wrike experience after testing?
Yes, definitely. Again, to do that, you would just need to go to Wrike Labs and disable it. So if I click on this disable button right now, submit and disable, you'll see my Wrike actually updated automatically, and I'm in the classic navigation. So you can go in back and forth, and I know some of the Wrike champions used to do that as well to show, to see, the Wrike that their users would see, and that they can go back to labs click on Enable, and see the new navigation. So at this stage, it is possible to enable and disable it whenever you want. In the future, however, so closer to the second half of the year, this option will be removed. Again, we don't have any dates at this stage. It will depend on the feedback, and we will update all of you, of course, on all the changes. At this stage, it is possible to opt in and opt out, but gradually this will be, at some stage, this will no longer be an option.
Great, thank you, Marina. Another one that came in is, are there or will there be any training materials for the new experience, like guides or videos, etc.? People are concerned about being able to share this with their employees.
Definitely. So first of all, you will have this webinar. It's being recorded, and we will obviously share the recording with all the users on our webinars page. I also want to say that we run these webinars on a few other languages like Russian, German, and French and Spanish. So it will be during this week and until the end of February. So you will always have this webinar. Another option is if you go to discover.wrike.com, and by the way, if you're hearing about this for the first time, Wrike Discover is an e-learning platform on Wrike with pre-recorded courses. Everything except for the certification piece is free. So the certification is the only paid service on Wrike Discover. Everything else, so all learning plans and courses, are free for all the Wrike users. So again, all you need to do is to actually have a Wrike license. And if you start typing in here new experience, you'll see the course 104 Wrike New Experience that you can actually send the link. So if you click here at the top right to get a shareable link and you copy it, you can actually send it to all your Wrike users so that they enroll to this course and start learning about New Experience at their own pace. As a recommendation, actually, that's what I did here with my software development team Space. Bookmarks, so if you have Spaces, bookmarks section will still be there no matter what navigation you use. So those bookmarks will be available to people on the current navigation and on the new experience. And what I did, I just went ahead and created a bookmark here for new experience course that actually leads you directly to this learning course. Last but not least, you may know and you may use it on a regular basis as well as I do. We have our Help Center portal. And if you go to just help.wrike.com, you'll see there are a few banners talking about the new experience. So actually, we've launched a new Wrike Experience Help Center. So again, gradually, once the classic navigation will be sunset, this will be the main Wrike portal. So it has a slightly different link, new.wrike.com/HC for Help Center. And if you scroll down, you'll also see some of the frequently asked questions and some of the information on the new experience. So you can also always review this information as well. I hope this answers it.
Thanks, Marina. A question came in from Elaine Channings, who said, since they do not use spaces, would it be advisable for them to switch from their folder structure to spaces in line with the new navigation?
I would say yes, just because if you have spaces, it's much easier to see them in your homepage and to see the structure. Again, what if you don't use spaces, what will happen upon the change to the new experience is that, and if you just have your whole folder structure and you have a top folder that you use, basically this top folder can become your new space. You will see all of this information under shared with me. And another option would be, I actually already tagged all of the items from my shared with me section during the demo. But if you see your whole structure here, you can right click on one of the folders. So let's say your top folder that you want to convert into a space. You right click on it and you'll see an option to convert this folder to a space. So instead of just doing all the tagging that I did during the webinar, you can also just convert one of the folders to a space and thus start using spaces. I'd say I understand that changing to this may need some, adjusting and some time, but definitely spaces are here to stay. It's a major part of this new experience. So if you want to use tools and be able to see the hierarchy of this space separately, I'd say you'll need to move to the space structure.
Great, thanks, Marina. A question came in earlier, and it said that you briefly touched on this one, but can users select a task and time track from their home screen?
Yes, they can. So in my case, for instance, I actually have a few tasks here. Usually, I think you would see the preset of the tasks that you need to work on this week. So for instance, I have this one. So you can just click here, right? And start the tracker. And you see that I have started the tracker. I can pause it and I can actually just, add a time entry to any of those tasks. So basically, yes, it's even a slightly different. It's an upgraded time tracker, because previously you would just see the time tracker, you'd be able to pause it, but now you can also kind of change the tasks and switch between the tasks. So yeah, let's start the time tracker, by the way. I can pause it at a later stage, and I'm happy to answer other questions.
Great, thanks Marina for that. Another registrant asked, if I enable this new experience, will it be reflective in my phone app?
So the phone apps, that's actually a great question. The phone apps have a slightly different logic. So whether you use iOS or Android, they would actually you would have a different experience on your phone apps. So I'd say when you move to the new experience on your laptop, on your browser version or desktop app, it does not necessarily affect the mobile apps, just because the logic there is slightly different. You would have a limited space on your mobile phone, so the navigation is actually different by default. So your experience with mobile apps won't change drastically.
Great, thanks Marina. I just saw, just while you were on the time tracker subject, we do have one user here who is having difficulty seeing the tracker on her screen.
Mhm.
Is the tracker available on all levels of Wrike?
I would actually say it depends on the user license, and again, depending on the settings on your account, so what the admins have set for you. You may not always have the time tracker on, so you may not always have this feature on all of the tasks, and also collaborators won't have access to time tracking, but regular users should definitely have this. Again, actually, if you have any issues with that, or you feel like there's something wrong, you're not seeing all of the functionality, please remember you can always send an email to our support team to support at team.wrike.com, or also if you go to our help center page, actually let me move to the old one, you'll see this help icon, so you can start typing in your question and go into the live chat with an agent.
Great, thank you, Marina. I think this is probably the last question. We've gone through a lot, and unless another few come in, we might leave it at this one. But one user said that he observed that the new experience command is already existing from the classic view under the profile tab. Does this person still need to go through the Wrike Labs to activate/deactivate the new experience, or can this be done through the profile?
It can be done through the profile as well. So you don't necessarily need to do that from labs. It's true, if you click on your profile and you'll see this this button, you can just turn off the new experience or turn it on again if you see it. So no, you don't need to go to labs. You can do it from the profile as well.
Great, thanks, Marina. One last question just came in.
Sure.
For the new navigation, can you just quickly show where the timesheets are located?
Yeah, sure. So if you have timesheets, and timesheets is a functionality that is available on Wrike Resource or Wrike for Professional Services plan. I've actually hidden it from my tools section, but if I click here to show more, because I have Wrike Resource on my demo account, I would see timesheets, workload, and stream. So what I can do here, I can actually unhide it, and that means that when I'm on homepage, I can just quickly click to timesheets, right, and then go back. And another option is, remember I told you about this More button at the top right corner of your screen? When you click here, you'll see all the tools and all this toolbar that you would see in the home page. So once you decide which tools you want to see, they will also appear with this button. That means that I can go to my software development team space, then click on the More button and go to timesheets directly from this More button. Do we have any more questions, Noel?
I think that is it, Marina. I think we got through a good chunk of them there, and that was the last question that came through.
Perfect. Sounds good. Well, in any case, I definitely encourage you to enable new Wrike Experience, get used to it, and send us your feedback if you have any. Feel free to reach out to your customer success managers and your account managers to discuss this further if you feel like there's something that does not fit into your use case. And happy Wriking, everyone.
Thank you so much, Marina, and thank you all for attending.
Thank you all. Have a great day.